Hey, it's Robby Myer, the Architects Concierge from Golden State, and today I'm changing things up a little bit. I've got a guest with me. This is Tim Schultz from Modern Mill. We're going to talk about a revolutionary new product that I love called ACRE. Stick around. All right, Tim.
Robby.
So great to have you on the Architects Concierge YouTube channel.
I'm thrilled to be here. Any day I can talk about ACRE is a good one.
It is a good one, and it's super exciting to be talking about this because, one, it's a new format for me. I've never had a guest. I've always just talked to the camera and been like, blah, 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 this product, that product, and today I actually get to have an interacting conversation that I'm really kind of, I'm excited about it because it's something new, it's something different, and it's a really interesting product that we've got to talk about today. So first, what is ACRE?
Sure. So Modern Mill, my company, we manufacture ACRE, which is a new building material made from rice hulls. So a few things about rice you may not know, other than you ingesting it through sushi and your other favorite foods, is that we're a net exporter of rice. The United States makes more rice than we consume, so we send it elsewhere in the world. And also rice is grown in a shell called the rice hull. That shell becomes agricultural waste, goes to the landfills where it biodegrades. We have found another use for it. It is an abundant resource. We're down in Mississippi, where most of the rice farms in this country are. We have taken that agricultural waste product and created our new beautiful line of products called ACRE.
Wow, that's a lot to take in. So let's start with, all right, first of all, I didn't know that the United States produced more rice than it actually consumed. That is an interesting talking point.
Sure.
So where's all this rice coming from? And yeah, let's start with that. Where's all the rice kind of grown in the United States mostly?
Yeah, so there's some rice farms that are north of Sacramento, but the majority of it by volume is in the Delta region. So in the southeast, in Mississippi, Louisiana, Florida, the Panhandle, those types of regions. Okay.
Most of the places where there's water.
Exactly.
Deltas like Sacramento, the Sacramento Delta.
Water and flat.
It makes sense. Okay. And now that you mention it, I've been duck hunting up in rice fields in the Sacramento Valley area.
Okay.
So that's interesting. But what I didn't know is that, well, I didn't know because I'm not a rice farmer, but I didn't know that every grain of rice had a sheave on it, and that sheave had to be removed from the rice in order for the rice to be, consumed as food, and that there would be agricultural waste that would create a wood-like product that a company could actually take and remanufacture into something usable again. So I really love that aspect of it, that it's taking what would ordinarily be a waste product that would take up landfill space or need to be, disposed of in some way, shape, or form, is actually the core material for making the ACRE product.
Yeah, it's a really incredible organism. So, all it's doing is, in its lifespan, is protecting the rice grain from rot, weather, pests, insects, smoke, all that stuff. So it's one of nature's most waterproof organisms by nature. Two natures in that sentence for you there.
Yeah.
But it's a remarkable organism. I'm glad we found another use for it in its life, and we're taking what would be in the landfill here in the United States and producing what I think is a world-class product.
I'm going to have to agree. I've been fascinated by it ever since I was introduced to it. It's got an amazing texture to it that I'm assuming is manufactured into it. It's got like a wire brush texture here. Mm-hmm. And then there's also a pretty remarkable wood grain texture. And its versatility is what's really kind of was attractive to me. It's a waterproof product.
Correct.
Right? So you can leave it outside and it's not going to rot, and it's not going to be susceptible to insect infestation, and all of that is appealing to me. And the other side of the appeal is that it is actually stainable and finishable just like wood is.
Correct. Yeah. I mean, so there's a lot of composites out there who say that they are a wood-like alternate, and I think we mimic the wood look, the natural warmth and beauty of wood really more than anybody, and especially with our versatility, as you mentioned, of being able to paint it and stain it. You can mimic, mahogany and teak and ipe and linear straight grain woods with ACRE. We have we've got a lot of people who have asked what species it is when they first cut into it. And so it really is a unique product, and the waterproof nature, lots of companies bill themselves as water resistant. We can have constant water submersion, and that's part of our lifetime warranties that will never rot, crack, swell, or splinter.
So you could use this for docks.
You could definitely use it for docks, and it's going to be about 30 degrees cooler on your foot than most composites. So if you're in some of the hotter parts of California, you can be on your bare feet
like
and
the
not
Delta,
running.
for example.
Yeah, exactly, exactly right.
Well, it's also got a nice, kind of a nice feel to it. So I imagine it'd be really comfortable underfoot, and it wouldn't splinter.
Exactly.
You're not going to get any splinters.
Yep.
It's not going to check or crack. I mean, yeah, I'm really fascinated by it. I'm also like that it can be milled. I don't know if you could see this on camera, but this is actually like a panel that has been routed into this material, and it just like, it's a flawless, it takes a detail flawlessly. It doesn't chip.
Right.
There won't be any chatter. Can you sand it like wood? Is it hand sandable?
You can. I mean, so the customization of the material and the amount of things that you can do with it is what makes us unique. And to your point there, you can route into it to get whatever profile you want. You can sand it as smooth as you like. If you want it to be a cabinet grade smooth for your exterior kitchen, you can definitely do that. If you wanted it to be rougher for some environment, you can do that. So yeah, you can route it, sand it, screw it, glue it. Really, you can bend it with heat, as you see here, with some of the thermoform pieces.
That's really interesting for all the van lifers out there that are building, interiors for vans. Think about like thermoforming the inside cove of the van out of this stuff, and it's, there's no allergens in here. There's nothing that can there's no formaldehydes or any VOCs that would be, I don't even know what the word is, like hostile to the human environment.
Yeah, absolutely. So, we bill ourselves as a very sustainable material. Sustainability has become a little bit of a buzzword, means different things to different people, but you have to look at the holistic, approach or holistic values of ACRE. We're made in a closed loop, zero waste environment. Our 200,000 foot factory produces no dust, no debris. We repurpose it all into our mold.
No dust, no debris?
Nothing. Everything's repurposed into ACRE. So,
wow.
Yeah. So
that's impressive.
And then what's in the material is obviously an agricultural waste product. What's important is also what's not in the material, and that's glues and VOCs. So there's no carcinogens when you're cutting into it. You're not adding anything to the ozone when you're working with it. So there's just a holistic environment to kind of that sustainability buzzword, as we like to use it.
Yeah. How does that relate to like LEED points or green building?
Yes, and this is the group that loves the LEED credits, right?
Everybody loves LEED credits.
That's right.
Yeah, architects especially.
We have a ton of LEED credits associated with the material. We are Green Guard Gold Air certified, part of Sustainable Furnishings Council. We have just a lot of sustainability initiatives that we're a part of, and most certainly a lot of LEED credits.
Fantastic. It's kind of touching all the buttons. How does it take a nail, or is it like MDF where if you put a screw into the edge, it's like got better face retention than edge retention?
It has,
what are the properties of it like from the carpenter standpoint?
For sure. So, nothing is going to have as good of a nail screw retention as wood, but we have among the best nail screw retention of any non-wood material out there. You can screw up to the very, very edge. It's never going to pop out on you or mushroom out or splinter on you. You can perpendicularly screw it. I have a sample up there that is pocket screwed. That's a big thing in the cabinet industry, and something you couldn't do with a lot of other materials.
Right, like MDF.
Both because of the nail screw hold, and also because you'd be affecting the waterproof nature, because they're capped composites and we're just waterproof all the way through.
100% waterproof, so you could drop this in water and it would be impervious to it?
Yeah, and that's what everybody likes to do, to see if I'm full of it and to check my math, is they will leave a sample in a 5-gallon bucket of water, they'll put it on the roof, they'll come back a month later, and then they believe me.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to do that now.
Please.
So what does this product come in? I mean, I've seen decking.
Yep.
It looks like you've got some siding profiles there, and I know there's all kinds of different boards and sheets.
So what really makes us unique is that we can do kind of the entire envelope of the home other than anything structural. So there's no, still building a home out of the 2x4s and still framing the deck out of that. But we have sheet goods, decking, trim, and siding. So we have all 4 product lines. We have continuous extrusion, so we can do very long things up to 20 feet. We can do things down to 8 feet. If you wanted it shorter, you can always cut it shorter. But yeah, sheet goods, trim, decking, siding, and we're the only manufacturer in the world that you can stain and that's waterproof of all those things.
So let's talk about the sheet goods.
Sure.
So are we talking like 4x8 plywood, or I mean,
Yeah, exactly. 4x8, 4x10, all the way up to 4x20. We have
4x20?
We have garage door manufacturers who love using those long sheets.
Wait, a 4x20 sheet of ACRE?
You can carry that by yourself, can't you, Robby?
I don't know. I've never tried. I didn't know it was available in that. But man, think about 20-foot lengths. You could wrap columns with it.
Right.
You could do soffits with it. You could build a boat with it. I mean,
Yeah.
what kind of texture has it got? Is it the same wire brush texture?
Yeah, you can have that sanded texture. You can have a more embossed, more rustic look. There's a lot of ways to customize it if somebody wanted by wire brushing it, by sanding it more. But we have two different aesthetics. We offer this linear straight grain texture, then we offer an embossed texture as well.
And the embossed texture is like a wood grain, I'm assuming?
Yeah,
is there
it's more
something on the table here?
No, it's.
We don't have a wood grain?
I have one sitting
Here's
on the
one
ottoman.
right here.
Oh, yeah,
That's
there you
got a
go.
wood grain in
Okay.
it. Yeah, that's pretty authentic. I could see this being used. How would this work as like a form board for concrete, where you wanted to get a wood grain embossing in it? Would that?
Yeah, really good question. So that is a use that we accidentally stumbled into. We certainly didn't manufacture this product thinking we were going into concrete forms, but we're commonly used for that.
Oh man, I could see it being a concrete form for sure. That is a deep emboss.
Right. Yeah, you have a wood look concrete, and you can reuse our sheet goods many, many times. Where an average plywood sheet good for a concrete form, you get about 7 to 9 uses.
How many uses do you think you'd be able to get out of this?
Depends on what you're doing, but 30, 40 watts. You just have to spray the releasing agent, which is done with any other material, and then we'll be good. And think you can do curved concrete forms now, something very unique.
Oh, ooh, yeah, you're opening up a whole world of possibilities with that. So, how do you do that? How do you bend it?
Sure. So there's lots of different ways, but we're bent with heat. We're not bent with a hot day in California, but we're bent with 250 degrees of heat.
Okay.
So there's heating blankets that can do that can wrap around a dimensional piece. There's commercial ovens you can use if you have a sheet good and you want to make like an Adirondack chair, a curved seat back. Then there's what's called vacuum forms, where people take a sheet good out of an oven and they have a vacuum that sucks through like a mold. So we have a gentleman in Colorado who makes sinks out of ACRE by vacuum forming a sink form.
Wow.
Yeah, so a lot of different ways to do it, but you have to get the core to 250 degrees. That's the main thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
That seems kind of like that's got to be very pliable to make a sink out of it. So when you get it to 250 degrees, does it get really soft?
It's like a noodle. Yeah, you have about 3 or 4 minutes to where it cools to room temperature, then it takes on its new form.
And then it just retains that shape?
It retains it, yeah.
There's no spring back?
No,
it just holds?
none. That's its new shape. It's as strong as it was in its linear form. So it's a very unique thing.
My head is spinning with ideas that I could do with this radius cabinets.
Yeah, and your customer base, if you're architects, they're the thinkers, they're the designers. So we look forward to seeing what they can do with it.
We have some amazing architects in the San Francisco Bay Area.
For sure.
I'm privileged to work with some real forward thinkers that are very inspiring. And what's fun is that I get to be involved in these projects really early on and see into the future almost.
Right.
And these guys are really pressing the envelope with design, and they're always really interested in these forward, really progressive types of materials, especially when you're hitting those lead button points, and the environmental concerns are always really strong. What about fireproof? That's something here in California that we got to talk about.
It for sure is. So this is very fire resistant. We have an excellent flame spread, one that would give us a Class A rating, but unfortunately we don't hit the smoke suppressant number of that, which is the second part of getting a fire rating. So we have no official fire rating, but it is very fire resistant. It has a great flame spread, and we are in development of the second iteration of this technology that would get a full Class A rating, and we would get WUI approval with that.
Okay.
So we definitely realize
So you're working on that, and that's in the future.
We're certainly working on that. I'm a California resident. It's not a talking point. It is a concern here.
Yes, you're familiar with.
Yeah, we
fire
definitely
season.
Yeah,
that's an actual thing out here in California.
The 12-month fire season.
Fire season.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, as long as that's understood, it seems like, especially to the face of it, that it would be pretty hard to get any flame spread going with that.
Yes, it absolutely is.
All right. Well, tell me a little bit about Modern Mill. We were talking about it earlier off camera, and it's such a feel-good story about this family, this investment family that's come across this technology and this idea and went full steam into it and
Yeah.
go into this impoverished community and just like revitalize it. Tell us about this.
Yeah, and that's really what drew me to Modern Mill. I've been here since we were pre-revenue. The story, the family, what we were doing for that community is what made me leave a very stable position and join a startup company years ago. So we are owned by and run by 3 siblings who long ago became successful enough that their number 1 driver is not operating profit and gross profit, but their top 2 drivers are sustainability and employment. So we built
That's outstanding.
We built a 200,000 foot plant in a opportunity zone in Mississippi where manufacturing jobs had kind of gone to die. We brought it back. We committed to 300 new jobs in our first 24 months. We
300 jobs in 24 months.
Yeah, in Macomb, Mississippi, which
That is some growth.
a big deal. We had the governor there for a ribbon cutting ceremony.
Wow.
We pay everybody on our lines way above a living wage. We give everybody 2 free years of trade school or college education and their kids. So
Whoa.
yeah,
2 free years of trade school or college education for your employees and their kids?
in the middle of Mississippi.
What
So,
if their kids like get accepted into Stanford? They'll pay for that?
I think there might be some limits on that. Maybe
There's
a
gotta
state
be
school.
some
I think
limits.
there's probably some state school limits.
But how remarkable! What a great company to be putting their people first. Very, very much like Golden State. I'm really privileged to work for a company myself that shares that same value for the people that make it happen every day. You know, our owners and our leadership are very, very cognizant of the fact that, you know, without our people, we don't succeed, and they really take great care of the employees. And it's so remarkable to hear another story of similar virtue.
Yeah, and that's who we try to partner with, right? And
Yes.
so that's who, like-minded kind of think tanks, right? So sustainability initiatives and companies that put their people first, that's who you want to go to business with. This is a multi-billion-dollar industry. We don't need all of it. We'd like a small percentage of it. We like when Modern Mill and ACRE ends up in place of what would have been a tree.
Yeah.
We don't work for every environment. We work for a lot. We work for a lot of them. We certainly enjoy our partnerships with companies like Golden State.
Well, it seems like you guys are touching all the buttons. I'm really just floored by the fact that the main component, the main ingredient of this product is an agricultural waste. I mean, rice hulls, who would have ever thought? And it creates such a versatile and really just appealing material. It feels good,
Yeah.
And it doesn't have, that plasticky feel that you get with a lot of composites,
Yeah.
That's kind of, everything wants to look like wood, but feeling like wood, that's something different. Actually, it does actually feel like wood. It feels like it could be, bamboo or just anything. It's just really neat.
Yeah, thanks for saying that.
Well, that's, genuinely how I feel about it. And I've been working with it. As you know, I'm building my outdoor kitchen out of this product. And I've had some time to actually experiment with it. And I put it in a bucket of water and it didn't expand. I actually dropped a pocket screwed and glued. It was glued with Gorilla Glue. That's probably something else we should talk about. What kinds of glues? Well, let me finish my story first. We'll get to that. Put it into a bucket with 2 pocket screws, and I used Gorilla Glue to hold it together. And it was in 2 or 3 days, and yeah, it didn't expand or contract, and it didn't blow apart the glue joints. So, yeah. And another thing is I was really impressed with it taking a profile. I raised a panel on my table saw, and it was really workable. The dust wasn't like MDF dust that tends to plume. It was really comfortable to work with. No splinters. Didn't get, some materials will get really sharp too, like melamine. Cut your finger with it. It's not like that. So yeah, it was really nice to work with. And being kind of a carpenter, woodworker, it's nice to have, the material matters when you're working with it. And sometimes, like Douglas fir, you get the gnarliest splinters, and it's like every time you're working with Douglas fir, you've always got that little bit of fear. But it's nice to work with a product that doesn't. So let's go back to glues. What glues can we use to put this together?
Yeah, so we always start that conversation with what glue to not use, because that's kind of the beginning and the end of it. And what
don't we use?
We want to avoid wood glue. It looks like wood. People think we'll use wood glue, and ironically, it's the only one that doesn't work.
Really?
So wood glues would be considered PVA glues, melamine glues. They're white.
How about Tight Bond?
Yeah, so Tight Bond 1, 2, and 3, those are the most common wood glues.
Yes.
So we don't want those.
No.
If you like Tight Bond, you can use Tight Bond polyurethane glue.
Okay, so any polyurethane glue, basically.
Any poly glue.
Because that's what Gorilla Glue is. It's a poly glue.
Yeah.
Okay.
And any epoxy glue, any contact cement, any PVC cement.
PVC cement? Pipe cement?
Yeah.
Holds this together?
Holds it together great. Yeah.
That's surprising. That's because it's have PVC in it as content.
Correct.
And what is the ratio of rice hull to PVC?
We have to keep some of that proprietary, but I can tell you it's above 60% rice hulls. So it is
above 60%.
Yeah, so it is definitely the main ingredient by volume.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
All right, so poly glues. You mentioned in one of our presentations with the Golden State staff that your favorite glue was Loctite's poly project adhesive. What is it?
Loctite PV Max is my favorite glue. It's really well priced. The Tight Bond poly. A lot of the poly glues can be very expensive.
Yeah, they can get pricey.
This is more similar to the wood glues in price. Its open time is pretty good, and so I think it's the favorite. We've done a lot of testing with it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sweet. Well, gosh, stainable.
Stainable, yes. And so that's the other thing. We start with what stains and paints can you not use, and that's solvent-based finishes.
Okay.
So we need water-based finishes, water-based paints, water-based stains, water-based urethane.
Well, that's easy out here in California because that's all we can use anyway.
Right? We love the VOC laws out here. We love them. It's a different conversation for me in Nevada and Arizona.
Right. You can use any kind of a finish as long as it's water.
Yep. Based.
So hand me that piece there. So this is a piece that is actually stained that would pass for that would pass for mahogany. You could literally convince somebody that was a really clear piece of mahogany. And the edge, you can get some grain into the edge, it looks like.
Yeah,
how'd you do that?
You can sand the edges to introduce grain structure to the edge, because after we extrude it, we sand the top and the bottom. So if you want to introduce grain structure to the side, you can just sand it like we do.
Ah, all right. And any water-based finish, can we go black?
So if you want to go black or a very dark color, you have to use a light reflective coating. We have a coatings guide on our website that can point you in the direction of quite a few stains and paints that you can use all the way up to black. And those coatings manufacturers on our site, they warrant their finish for X amount of years on our material, 15, 20, 30 years.
And what about the top coat? This looks like it has a varnish on it.
Yeah, so that's just a clear water-based urethane.
Okay, so any water-based
Yep.
Type of a top coat can go on it.
Exactly right.
Okay, well, yeah, the product's Modern Mill, or the manufacturer is Modern Mill, excuse me, and the product is called ACRE.
That's right.
I've worked with it a little bit and I really like it. That's kind of what drove this whole excitement, is my discovery and exploration of it. And fortunately, we were able to get Tim out here to the west, or to Northern California. He's on the West Coast as well. And yeah, we got an opportunity to have a talk and share it with all of you. So hopefully you guys like this new format. Hopefully these conversations will lead to some conversations with you and some questions about this product. If you have any, feel free to reach out to me. My email and all my contact information will be obviously in the newsletter where you found this video and in the description of this video. But Tim, how can these people reach you if they'd like to talk more about ACRE from Modern Mill?
Yes, I love to talk ACRE, as you can see here, so anybody can reach out to me anytime. Email is tim@modern-mill.com, so tim@modern-mill.com.
All right, well, Tim, thanks for your time.
Awesome.
I appreciate all the information, the description, and actually the company as a whole operation is just fantastic. I love the story, I love the product, and I love the fact that it's clicking all the boxes with sustainability, environmental impact, and it's a great material to boot. So reach out for more information. I'm Robby Myer, the Architects Concierge from Golden State. Thanks for watching. That was it.